I busted out crying. And I mean, when I say bitch inconsolable, I was inconsolable. Like, what is good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We have a story time today. So I want to tell you a story that recently happened to me and how it just made me realize that I was in my own way of my manifestation. And if you feel like you're in your own way of your manifestation, or you're not sure, or you're having this stagnant moment although you think that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, listen to this story time. It's going to bring it full circle for you. Last week I was driving, running some errands and whatnot, and I couldn't get over in my mind how I thought that I was doing everything right, or kind of like really progressing into the reality that I really want. And I think for the last few months, because it hasn't been playing out exact, I feel like I had a lot of resistance built up, and I didn't realize how much I was relying on the end or the outcome that I really wanted and why I wasn't getting it. Or did it just seem like I wasn't really getting it? So as I was contemplating, I was thinking, I was riding down the street, and I happened to come up on this place that I used to visit when I first started visiting where I live now. And I look over and I just see it, and I'm like, I just had this realization moment where I realized that what I have already been in the reality that I desire, but I couldn't really see it. So at the beginning of the year, remember I told you guys that I quit my business that was doing well, my six-figure business, because it was no longer serving me. I felt like I was just not connected to it, and I had already set in motion me really wanting to pursue something else. I wasn't quite sure on what that was, and I was just playing around doing a lot of things, and I just kind of stumbled into a lot of things. And I feel like the things that I've stumbled into, like, I never thought that they would like really turn out to be what they are now. But it's so interesting because I look at that landmark, and I just remember I used to go to that landmark every time before I moved to my dream city, and I would think about me living here, and I would think about me riding around in my dream car, and I would think about me having a life of leisure, basically being able to shop. And then I had this thing where I was like, I would get to go and hang out and go to lunch at like odd times, like 11 a.m 12 a.m with the older crowd, and just shop the whole day away. And then I just started having a realization that I do all these things, and that I have done all these things. And it was just like a realization of me realizing that I've already been in my wish fulfilled. But just because it was not looking, or the path or the lineup or what I'm doing in my career now, or what is happening in my life, doesn't quite look exactly like how I wanted it to, me doing certain things and getting into certain things, but the end goal is still the same. And I just had a moment. I was sitting at a red light of acceptance, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna say fuck it. It may not be going exactly the way that I want to, because up until then I hadn't been making any sales on my digital products that I had put out. There was a lot, like I wasn't growing on one of my channels consistently. Like it was just like everything had been kind of stagnant, and I was like, what is it that I'm holding on to? And then I heard in my head, I was like, you know what, you're not really accepting like that you are here. You still keep looking for on the outside to see that you are where you are, and it's not showing up in the way that you want. But your end goal, you are living in your end goal. You do have a life of leisure. You do get to get up and do those things that you want to do. And just because it's not lining up in the exact way that you want to, doesn't mean that it hasn't already happened, or doesn't mean that the signs are there. So I just had this moment of like, I'm just going to accept what is in this moment right now, because that's the only thing that I can control. And as soon as I had this moment of acceptance, you guys, I literally just busted out crying. I busted out crying. And I mean, when I say bitch inconsolable, I was inconsolable. Like this release like that I've never felt before. Like when I tell you, driving and like boohoo crying like all the way home for like 10 minutes straight. Like I felt like something had opened me up in that moment. And in that moment I had the most amazing realization ever, that I thought about it and I was like, you know how acceptance is up there on the scale of consciousness with neutrality or indifference, and I talked about it in one of my videos. I'll link it up here. But when I thought about it, I was like, I have to accept what is right now, like, and know that I'm doing everything that I feel like I should be doing and that it's enough. And in that moment, because as much as I tell you guys these things, some things that I do, I place so much expectation on them because I am a control freak at times. But I really learned through this process that I'm going through now in this moment from actually following my internal compass, which, you know, me leaving my six-figure business while it was doing well didn't make sense at the time, but now it makes perfect sense because I do feel more fulfilled and I am in my end, but the route that I'm getting there and the things that have happened, I couldn't fathom they happen in the way that they're happening. And so as soon as I had that moment of acceptance, the most crazy thing happened, you guys. So I get home, I'm like, later, I'm going through my comments on all my YouTube channels and my TikToks, and on one of my YouTube channels, one of my videos, like, at that point had hit like 10K views, and I had just posted that video like 2 days ago. And in the comments, like, and just all of a sudden I had people like commenting like on all these different videos, things that I was imagining that they would say to me. It's like me having that full moment of acceptance in that car, like in my car, like me realizing that I am driving around in my dream car, I am living in my dream city, I actually do get to wake up whenever I feel like it and make content and do all the things that I say I'm gonna do. And just because like I'm not making the exact amount of money that I was or that I really want to doesn't mean that it's not happening. And just to accept where I am in this moment, like I'm telling you, I look back and I'm just like, that was the missing piece for me to realize that it is now. It's not something that's necessarily coming in the future. I have to see my wish fulfilled as now. I have to see everything that I want as unfolding now in the present moment. It's not, because if I'm looking and I'm trying to gauge, then it's always going to be further down the road. I'm always going to be trying. I'm always going to be trying to make something happen. And just to see that happen, and it's constantly been growing. And literally I hit a milestone on one of my channels like just recently, like in 4 days, from me just relaxing and me letting go and me just, I don't know, it's like everything that I've imagined. Like when I do my visual scenes, like for the people commenting on my videos, like they're commenting that like my videos on TikTok are going viral, like, and then my sales have went back up, like people are buying my digital products now and doing all these things. And it was like, I think I was holding myself up because I did not fully accept where I was right now. And so I just want to let you guys know that sometimes if your situation does not look like the way that you want it to, but you feel in your heart that you think you're doing enough, you think that you're letting go, you think that you have like whatever it is that you think you got it on lock, and the results are not showing, or you've been consistently in a stagnant state. Maybe there was something that you have not accepted. I was like, maybe I needed to forgive myself for, putting so much weight on me for having to do things the same and placing such a high expectation on myself. Like in that moment when I accepted that I was just good enough as I was, like immediately my manifestation started like rolling back in. And it's just so amazing to see it in real time, because now I can connect the dots looking back and see where it was adding up, where it was linking to. But me, I was so focused on that one little thing, the expectation that I had placed on it to be perfect, or this manifestation to go smooth. And it has been smooth. I was just in the way. So what I'm telling you guys is sometimes we get to be in our own way through us not accepting, through us not being indifferent. So I'm sharing with you guys this experience because this is something that's happened in real time. And sometimes all it is you having to accept internally. And it's not just accepting and saying I accept, but I really feel that shift internally, that I accept that it just is like everything I want, it is right now. It's not me waiting for it to happen. All right. So you guys, I just wanted to share that little message with you. And I don't know, like life will always just show you like that it's always working out in your favor. So you don't really need to do anything, guys. You really don't have to lift a finger. And the more that I really dive into this, and the more that I'm kind of rebuilding from a different point in my life, I really see how you really don't have to lift a finger. So you guys, I just want to leave this video for you right here. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.